Okay, so we typically begin these with the question, what is your background with typology and cognitive functions? How long have you been familiar with it? Don't tell me what type you think you might be, but if
I'm
you
not
think you
going
have
to.
a type or something like that, the usual drill.
Okay, yeah. So I got really into it about like 2 years ago. I was like into it, and then about a year and a half ago, I really started studying more. And then, there's just different things I keep learning. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm becoming more and more proficient at this. But I was introduced to it maybe 4 years ago by my brother. He's an INTJ and just into like whatever, and so he was like, oh yeah, this is that, and I was like, okay, that's
Just
kind of
call him
cool.
back. It's busy. Sorry about that. We're getting a phone call.
That's okay.
Don't you want my phone?
I'll use mine anyway.
Do you know what the number is?
It's for Dad, I
Oh,
think.
it's your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Take my phone. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Sure.
Okay, so you were saying you got your brother introduced you to it when you were when? How old?
Maybe I'm 22 now. I might have been 16 or 17. Just I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Whatever that meant. And then it wasn't until like maybe 19 that I started looking at it a little closer. And then really when I was like 20, I was like, oh, okay, this is like pretty important. You have to kind of study this seriously to understand it and for it to be useful. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Uh, when do you have any pets?
Not currently. I am in the U.S. military, so I'm not allowed to right now. So I'm in the barracks.
Okay. No pets allowed when you join the army,
Not
huh?
not army wide, but I guess like in the barracks, for whatever reason.
Yeah, sure. Okay. If you were, let's say you finished with your military career because you got one of those you got a super great kind of injury, like you got your pinky toe shot off.
Hmm.
You get honorary discharge with extra money and all that kind of stuff. So now, do you get a pet?
Yeah, I would think so. It would just depend on how stable I was at the point, and probably someone else helping me do it. Because sometimes things like that, I'm like, oh yeah, it sounds cool, but that's
So
like
a lot of
more fun to think
caregiving.
about it. Yeah, it's a huge responsibility
Yeah, a
for
lot of
sure.
caregiving.
I
Okay.
like dogs and pets and stuff though.
Do you hope someday to get married and have kids?
Yeah, I would say so. When I'm being completely honest with myself, I'm like, yeah, that probably sounds nice, and you
But
know,
no hurry.
no hurry.
Okay. Uh, what sort of thing do you do in the military? Are you infantry? Are you
I'm a public affairs, so I basically take photos and make videos and all this other stuff. So it's pretty fun. So I want to take that to the civilian sector once I'm done.
They've got pretty
Yeah.
good personnel. They've got pretty good HR.
The military does?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, do you think you're well placed?
Oh. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, for my personality and the job that I'm in, yeah, I would say based off all the other jobs I could have had, this is probably the one most fitting for sure.
Yeah, I'm impressed that they got you in that job and not doing something completely back
Um,
asswards. You know.
uh, I'm very, very, very lucky.
Okay. So let's say you walk into a store one day, and there are two people in the store standing in front of the cashier area. The cashier is back there sitting on a stool reading a paper, ignoring this. Two people are arguing. The woman's crying. The man is shaking his head and looking very stern. And as you walk into the store, the lady looks at you, meets your eyes pleadingly, and then looks back at the ground or whatever. Do you intervene? Do you do anything or say anything?
Yeah, for sure. I feel, especially if it being a female, yeah, probably definitely. I would have to.
Would you sort of read the situation
Yeah,
more?
yeah. Well, yeah, I might not be like, all right, what the fuck's going on here? But I'd probably be like, okay, she's getting yelled at. She looks like she's in like need of
Distress.
some help or something. Yeah, distress. And then maybe I'd walk up a little closer and like see if I can like get a read on the conversation. And then if she like did it again, if she was more blatant about it, like being like or something like that, then yeah, I'd probably maybe make my presence known first because I'm not one to just be make a judgment. Like, oh, okay, this is the right thing to do. I'm more cautious, I would say. But then if it needed to be done, I'd be like, all right, like what's going on? Like, you know.
Okay. So, what's a better piece of advice for humanity in general? In order to grow, you need to let go of your past. Or, number 2, in order to grow, you need to change the way you relate to your goals.
That's a... They're both important. Let go of your past. Probably the first one. I think so.
Okay. So you think most people who are burdened with troubles and sorrows and stuff, it's likely because they're too fixated on their past?
Yeah, because I mean, you can like try to tell yourself you're going to change your mindset and be more like this, but if there's something really weighing you down from past traumas or whatever that you haven't dealt with, then you're probably never going to grow in a meaningful or like truly transformational way, you know? So you have to take care of that shit first, it seems like.
Do people often come to you for advice?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay. And do you feel like you're good at giving advice?
I probably thought I was better at giving advice when I was younger, but now I've become a lot more uncertain and just aware of like things are complicated, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, you need to do this, you know, really prescribing like solutions. I'm more like listen to them, tell them my perspective, maybe a couple other perspectives, and then be like, well, you gotta do what you think is right for sure, like not just like what you feel, or just like you gotta do what is right. I think.
Let's say I were to come over one fucking god damn it. Put this on just for a while. This thing is, that's why I need the charger. I'll get it later. Let's say I were to give you, I would say, hey, I really need you to do a favor for me. I need you to listen to these 3 songs I've written and tell me which one is the best. Now, I play you 3 songs that I've written that you've never heard before. Would you be able to tell me which one's the best?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, thank you. So if I said, like, look, I gotta submit one of these to a songwriting contest, and I don't know which one to submit, you think you'd be a good person to ask as to which one is the right one to submit? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Because I would be able to, like, I feel like, weigh what the strengths are in the other ones, but then also be, okay, maybe this is more, like, massively appealing or whatever. Yeah. But once again, I don't think I'd make the decision for you because I'm not you. That's the thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Well, presumably I'm just asking for advice, you know. I'm not going like, okay, I can't decide which one of these. I got narrowed down to 3, and I need to help picking one final choice. So, okay, well, that's interesting. Basically, let me leave you to ask him some questions while I go smoke a cigarette,
right,
and see if when I come back that you're on the same page that I am on this, and then we can go forward from there.
Okay. I mean, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah.
I assume you guys know, too. I feel like I'm pretty obvious, so... Yeah.
I mean, it's not that obvious.
Nobody's obvious. Yeah. If you think they're obvious, then you're not double checking enough.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So, do you work? You go to school?
Like I don't know if you're here for this, but I'm in the Army right now.
Oh, okay. How old are you?
Yeah. 22.
Okay. What do you like to do for fun?
Let's see. What do I like to do for fun? Usually fun for me, a lot of time is an independent thing, and I would say it's exploring freely whatever I'm into at that moment. So if it's like more artistic type things, then it's like, you know, studying different genres of books or movies, or like trying to create my own, or it's hanging out with friends obviously is really fun. But I don't, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, this is like my hobby per se.
Right.
I just kind of do what I want to do.
When do you actually, like, what is your favorite part of the day? Like, what is your
Well, as long as like overall pound for pound, nighttime for sure, because I'm not being kind of do what I want. There's like a sort of like, I don't know, something happens at night for some people, which is just leads to better thoughts or whatever. And then the morning also is very nice, as long as I don't have anything to do, just like that freshness right at the beginning of the day I really like as well. I hate the middle of the day.
Are you like a people pleaser? Like, do you care?
Yes and no.
No?
Yeah. No. Yes, I would say yes and no, because like I would say like more externally, I would look pretty like people pleasing, because I don't want to ruffle feathers. Now I like making people happy with me, but when it comes down to like more deeper things, like things that I'm like, this is what I've decided, then I'm not really going to budge for people. I'll be pretty stubborn and maybe even selfish at a point. Oh dang!
Can you give me an example of that, like a deeper thing that you wouldn't budge on, and you got into conflict because of it?
Let me think. I mean, I would just say like school type stuff in general. Maybe like when I was 18, and I would be pursuing in my free time, maybe to my parents or other people, seemingly like frivolous or pointless things. But I was like, no, I will not give up less time to do the things that you think I should do, because I don't value them higher than this thing, so.
Well,
there's like zero budging. Yeah.
What kind of things did you value?
Well, when I was 18, I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Are you familiar with what that is?
Yeah.
It's like grappling and stuff. So my brother was big into that, and then he got me into that, and I got like pretty like competitive with it and stuff. Like I was competing and really really into it and stuff. And basically everything else fell to like the wayside, namely school and stuff like that. So
yeah. Well, what about that? Was like after high school age anyway, though. But like, what about when you were like, I don't know, 12?
Let me think. Things that I would be stubborn about.
Or just whatever you were doing at the time. Like, what did you...
Yeah, so when I was 12, that's like, what, 6th, 7th-ish grade, yeah. I was playing sports and hanging out with friends, basically. Right. And discovering how great, like, music and movies and just things were and stuff. I guess I didn't have much preference when I was younger. It was more like, I have friends, things are fun. Let's just like do these fun things. But the thing is, if I wasn't having fun or like interested, then I was very like uneasy for sure.
Okay.
And also, I was always bad at doing homework and getting shit done because I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we haven't. The thing is, you're pretty straightforward to tell.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. I mean,
but
it totally reminds me of Nick too.
But much
better person.
Much less toxic.
yeah. I've seen your
his mannerisms and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, we're both concluding you're an ENFJ. Now, note, we're concluding.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
We're concluding this without testing a couple of things. We haven't actually tested directly your SI and see how your individual memory is. You could, in theory, be an ESFJ.
Yeah.
But we also haven't tested your TI directly. We haven't even tested your NE directly. I'm just sort of talking to you about FENI shit, and it's just FENI all over the place.
I see so much SE from him, though.
Well, that's third slot. Right. Yeah.
The total third slot SE. But I could be wrong.
So you are surprised by that? You didn't think ENFJ?
What do you think that I think I am? Or is that a weird question to ask?
No, it's not a weird question to ask at all.
I don't mean that like...
I think you probably... If you didn't think you were an ENFJ, that you might have thought you were an INFJ. Or an ESTP.
No, so I've been pretty confident that I'm an ENFP for like a couple years now. I used to think I was an INFP because I felt that was so much in my feels, but then I realized that NE was just the dominant thing always, for sure. Because I can.
That's I think a test. We did not really check. I didn't do any tests on you really, basically yet, except for FE and NI. Now look, the thing is, NI can be stronger than any dumb just fine. It's strong in me, and whatever. But the So I'm concluding this based on what seemed to me abundantly clear front stack FE, but it could
Wait,
be
repeat that. You broke off for a second. Abundantly clear what?
front stack FE, but front stack
Okay.
FE, but it could, in theory, be demonstrative 6-slot FE and EFP if everything else checks out. Well, let's do some tests.
Okay.
This
Okay.
morning, I got up and I rolled out of bed and I went outside. I had a cigarette. Then I went inside the house. I got a cup of coffee, and I came back outside and I started playing with this song I was working on the laptop. And I had to leave at like 9-ish or so. Instead, I didn't leave till almost 10 o'clock. I was running really late. And I got in the car and I listened to this mix a bunch of times. I went to LeBaron, got them, came back here. Can you tell me the same sort of story from your morning?
Yeah, I guess because I haven't been up for that long. But I went to bed like super early last night. And then I basically woke up at like 4 a.m. this morning, was on my phone for like 3 hours because I already slept for like 8 hours. And then I went back to bed. And then I woke up again. And I was on my phone for a while again. And then I put on some aloe vera and lotion to quell my burning skin.
Okay, you're not an ENFJ.
And then I made pancakes.
You're not an
and I made
Yeah, he's not.
You're not an ENFJ.
No, that's
My initial read on you was wrong.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
ENFJs cannot do that.
No, they can't.
Oh, really? Okay. That's
They can't articulate a series of linear events that they've gone through that, even the same day, with any detail at all. And in fact, it makes them angry when you start to tell them your story about the linear sets of events in the day. They go, okay.
But they could tell future plans, though.
What they do is something different. But regardless, you're not one. So, okay, let's nix that notion. Let's take a look at the... you still seem fucking FE front stack to me, so I'm thinking maybe you might be an ESTP. But
Can I say something real quick?
ESTP
So
was
both,
my first impression.
sure, go
both
ahead.
my parents are ISFJs, so like that very like being sacrificing to other people and family is like kind of ingrained with me, so it's kind of learned. I would say.
Okay, I'm not that thing that you just referenced is not something that entered into my calculus at all.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm happy I said it then. Yeah, okay.
All right. All right, let's test the extroverted intuition. So, I've got a new product. It's 1/2 circular saw, the other half nursing chair. So you can do woodworking while nursing your newborn baby. It comes with a baby-sized set of ear muffs to protect the baby's hearing from the loudness of the circular saw. Are you frozen?
Where is the circular saw located on it? Can I choose like where it is?
Well, it's attached to yeah. You can put it wherever you want. It's adjustable. It's modular. You can attach it in any number of different places.
Okay, well, there's one use that I thought right off the bat is you kind of like connect it to the bottom of it and somehow find like a tire that is like somehow can be fixed to the circular saw so that it doesn't like out of it, and you can use it as a transportation vehicle so that you could be nursing while maybe going to the grocery store. You also could probably make it. You could probably.
All right. Hold on. That's great.
You know what a circular saw is?
Great and very interesting example of NETE. But what I'm asking for is names. I want different names for this product. It's going to market.
My bad.
It's going to market, and all I can think of is nursing chair with circular saw attached to it.
Oh, okay. Give me a sec. Those are two very, very different things. I'm trying to think of some connection.
Baby Jesus' first carpenter set.
I like that. I'm having a really hard time right now, and I feel bad.
We get plenty more questions. Relax. Let's
Okay.
try another one.
Goodbye, baby.
Sockabye Baby.
That's a good
Great.
one. I'm under pressure right now.
Sockabye Baby is the
That's a
winner,
good
I
one.
think. There's no even reason to come up with any more names. That's the product's name. It's
I would say
Sockabye
so.
Baby. Okay, let me ask you this. How many synonyms can you think of for the word turbulent?
Uneasy, wild, chaotic. Um, huh.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you feel comfortable performing in isolation such that you do a great job, but nobody really is aware of it?
It depends. For me, I perform best when I'm being spontaneous. So it doesn't have to be by myself. So like I find that I'm like kind of funny, and I would say that's NE. So I can be pretty witty and make jokes about a lot of things, but it's pretty like unconscious. It just like happens right away and stuff. Sometimes when it's like on demand, like think of something, I'm like, I don't know, you know.
Okay,
I'll say when I feel constricted, I feel like I don't have the freedom to like kind of go where I please. I don't know if that makes sense.
what would you prefer a significant other provide for you? Clarity regarding your path, or reminders to eat, drink, and sleep?
Why don't? Well, I'm pretty like no one's really gonna tell me what my path is. I would need a lot more help with like those kind of bodily things. I would say for sure. So yeah, that would be very nice to me and something I'm not good at. So yeah.
Okay, so do you think that you do a good job of preventing harm to the things that you like and appreciate, or people?
Preventing harm. In what way do you mean?
Like, for example, Kimberly she loves the animals a lot, right? And
Yeah.
we lost a couple of kittens to coyotes. After that, she insisted the kittens are forced to stay inside all night, and that way she prevents harm from them. Now, keep in mind that neither of the other kittens necessarily was lost to a coyote attack at night, nor necessarily lost to coyotes. At least two of the kittens were probably killed by neighbor dogs during the daytime. But regardless, this is Kimberly doing harm prevention, stopping the kittens from going outside at night. In contrast, I would say let them outside, because if they get killed by a dog or whatever, so be it. That's act of God, and regardless, at least they're free to do what they want, and we're not controlling them. So I'm not engaged in harm prevention. I'm engaged in risk management. Okay? Which are you more likely to do?
Definitely risk management. I don't feel like I'm as hands-on to be like, okay, we gotta totally prevent this thing from happening. Like, it's definitely not me, I would say.
Okay, if your kid comes home from school and he or she has been bullied and comes to you and is in tears going, I've experienced bullying, I'm very sad, what do you say to them?
I would probably, one, I'd be like, okay, are you okay? It's going to be okay, that type of thing. And then secondly, I'd be like, okay, well, why did this happen? And then how could maybe we prevent it? And then thirdly, and maybe the most importantly, we'd probably discuss like why that person's being a bully, which is probably because they have a bad home life or something like that. That would accord with them that they understandings in the future when certain situation happens. That's what I would say. I don't think I'd call parents to the school or anything. I don't know why I would do that. So.
What do you think about criminal justice in America? Do you think that punishment should be reserved for only those people who can't be rehabilitated?
Hmm. No, well, I mean, it depends what they did. Like, if you do something really, really bad, you should probably still get punished. But if you can still be rehabilitated, I don't think, say you killed somebody, it's not like, oh, okay, let's just go to a couple therapy sessions and not maybe spend a couple years in jail. No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Who's my mother's sister's kid in relation to me?
Mother's sister's kid. Your cousin.
Okay. Who's my mother's husband's wife's daughter?
Your mom. I think that's how you put it.
Okay.
Grandpa, and then wife, which is grandma, and then daughter. I think you said.
How about this? Some squirrels wear hats, and some things that wear hats go swimming, and some things that go swimming drown. Therefore, some squirrels drowned. Valid or invalid?
Yeah, it's valid.
Okay. How about this? Only people from Peru play the pan flute. George is from Peru. Therefore, George plays the pan flute.
Not valid because he could be from Peru and still not play. The only reason I'm answering these is because I watched.
You watched them before? All right, let me give you some news.
These are hard.
Yeah, I feel like he's. Yeah, I figured he heard that.
I've watched. Yeah, I've watched.
Did he hear the Bush one?
So I would say I just have some practice.
Oh yeah, here's a question for you. So there are 2 branches to a shekel, and there are 2 shekels to a bird. Now, if a bird and 2 shekels equals a bush, how many branches are there in a bush?
There's a lot going on there.
All right, let me repeat it. I'm going to repeat it.
Okay.
There are 2 branches in a shekel, and there are 2 shekels in a bird. If a bird and 2 shekels equals a bush, how many branches are in a bush?
Eight.
Okay.
That's right. I think so.
How about this? I'm going to give you a 2-part syllogism. I'm going to ask you to provide the missing generalization. Now, in this instance, I'll give you an example. It sounds like this. Joe can't come in here. He's not a poet. The missing generalization would be only poets can come in here.
Got it.
Now, all your missing generalizations have to begin with either only, all, or no. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so here's the 2 things, and you provide the missing generalization. Steve must be good at math. His mom works for the government.
Mom works for the government. All children of government workers are good at math.
Correct.
Right.
ESTP?
I thought so at the beginning.
I think you're an ESTP.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I don't know. The SE thing to me, I just don't really.
Look, ESTPs get a bad rap and are misrepresented in general in typology community.
Yes.
Because they're smart, they're sensitive, they care. They're not just, puss slaying sports stars or whatever they get established as. Now,
I'm far from that for sure.
Now, let's not be entirely dishonest though. What's your name again?
Matt.
Matt, you have the capacity to bed chicks.
I'm sure I do. I'm just not very good at it, or maybe I just haven't pursued it very much.
No,
I
you're
don't
good
know.
at it.
Oh, you can, yeah. They're at your beck and call. And you may be actively managing the FE reality of that, saying, I don't want to be perceived as somebody who knows he can slay the puss. But you definitely can, and you surely know it. You must. So
No, I'm literally telling you. I surely.
I am not saying you have or do slay the puss. I'm saying you surely know that you can.
Look at him. You can't even keep
If the
a straight
stars
I
go
know,
line,
you can't
and
even
I
keep
really
a
would
fucking
like to-
straight face about it. You've got to be an ESTP because your TI is too good
Yeah.
for ENFP. And you're trying to sell me on ENFP by telling me, oh, here's why I can do these things, which is the opposite of what we normally hear.
Right.
Normally we hear these, like, special pleading why I can't do. You're special pleading why you can do a skills test that ENFPs just can't do. And the reason you think you're ENFP, you got the answer for the bully question. Oh, yeah, the most important thing to say to the kid is, worry about the bully.
Well, that wasn't the most important thing, but...
No, he said it was the most
No, he
important.
didn't.
He said it third, but he said it was the most important.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't buy it for a
Yeah,
minute.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that
You're not
for a
anti-tool.
minute. You're an ESTP.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got pretty good NE, but
That is shocking to me.
yeah,
Okay.
well, you're an SE Dom, I think.
I think that's it. Give me a second. I'm gonna put this
I
back.
can see it permeates your whole demeanor and your being, sort of. SE dominant people have a certain presence to them where it's like they're talking right to you. ENTPs are just like, they're like looking up, they're looking to the side, they're like thinking of the right word. They'll forget what they were talking about. It's like they're so floaty.
I'm trying to think. So, because the functions that I always feel are at the forefront for whatever I'm doing is obviously NE if NFI if I'm feeling I'm ENFP.
Yeah.
And then for ESTP, let's see, it'd be SE, then TI, and then FE.
Yeah. You have really good FE. Like, you are really good at
Yeah, I guess
at managing people's perceptions. Like,
It's not so much that ENFJs.
I guess it's
beta
Yeah, I guess I
quadra
am.
exudes
I
off
guess-
of you.
Right.
You just got beta quadra coming out of every pore.
yeah.
What does that mean?
It means,
I'd also like to spend like the second half of this discussing. Okay, yeah, go. Sorry.
oh, that just means somewhere in your stack you have the FETI pair and the SENI pair. That's beta quadra. So that's the NFJs and the STPs.
Okay.
So what did you want to talk about?
Well, I definitely want to go more into like because like I'm pretty familiar now with like the first four slots, but then lately, or I mean for a while now, there's like way more slots. Like there's the next four, and then
Right.
I've seen. Obviously, I know you guys are not the biggest fan of C.S. Joseph, but he has like literally 3 other stacks.
Yeah, 4 sides of the mind. The
Yeah,
problem with
so how do you guys do it exactly after the 4?
Oh,
First
for
one.
us, it's just you have your front stack, like you said, which you're well aware of, and then you have your back stack, and your back stack influences everything else in various ways. Like your introverted sensing 5th slot, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because after you get to NI, right, it would start over again at SI, TE,
Mhm.
FI, NE. So it would basically look like an ISTJ stack would be your
Mhm.
back stack. And so your SI, it's something you ignore, which means you don't care about it, but when someone brings your attention to it, you're perfectly capable.
He cares about it.
Yeah, you do care about it.
It's an absolute value,
Yeah.
actually. But the thing is, the way it plays out is...
You don't pay attention to it.
Often in your own life, you don't apply it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if something doesn't validate on SI, which basically means for you, it doesn't link to somehow you having... Is that not yours?
No, this is mine.
Okay. If it doesn't somehow link to your having an experience that helps build part of your identity, then you're not going to find it interesting, worth your attention, or whatever. If somebody else can't take care of themselves, can't feed themselves and stuff, and doesn't have any sort of identity building stories that work for them, then you won't have any respect for them. But the thing to note is that with the 4-5, with SI and NI, they're not useful in telling their type, because you can do both 4 and 5. I can do both 4 and 5. I can ask you to tell me specific details of a story, and you'll be able to produce it no problem. And similarly, I will frequently use NI in collapsing shit down all the time. And to a certain extent, it's what we're doing all the time here. You know, it's like we're figuring out. You're giving me a bunch of shit, right? And I'm going, all right, well, what is this guy? And finally, it falls into place. And the thing is, of course, the one type that does this, Taylor did this to me, is ESP. They like to try to fool you. They won't cheat. They won't say lies, but they'll frame shit to see if they can fool you. I don't know if you do that intentionally or not, but it's something ESCPs like to do.
Okay. So another question would be, so for SE, like that's like so, I guess I haven't done a lot of research on that at all, and maybe I have just misconstrued SE as NE. But I don't know. I just feel like I identify with NE like super hard. What would be some of the things that I might do behaviorally as SE?
SE is the SE behavior is the kind of behavior where you just once you decide you want to do something, you just do it.
It's about this. It's like SE has a self-contradictory aspect to it. On the one hand, it's about checking shit off of the list that you have, completing the shit on the list.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, it's about opportunism. So an ESTP is willing to switch horses in midstream if the other horse is obviously better. So the difference between an ESTP and an ENTP is that an ENTP is very much more interested in having all the time they want to think something out before they have to do anything. In fact, just yesterday, I had this idea for a while now. I was planning on doing it, but it hadn't really finalized in my head completely. And it's this idea for this sort of like beta product that we're going to add on to videos potentially. And I had to put it on the schedule, and then at that point, Tori noticed it. She's like, "What's that?" And Spacey's like, "Yeah, what are you doing? You keeping information?" And I'm like, I'm being forced to reveal something here. I'm being forced to act, put something into play before it's juiced around in my marinade enough.
Mm-hmm.
So ESTP doesn't have that problem so much.
Mm-hmm. So I have a couple things to say, and I'm not trying to be like argumentative right now. I really just want to like test out like, am I mistaking?
By all means,
It's not impossible that you're an ENTP.
Say that again.
I said it's not impossible that you're an ENTP. It is impossible that you're an ENFP.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a couple things I also would like to point out. So there's a couple things that I said and doing right now that I feel like may be skewing your opinion. One is that I don't know if this is that I'm in a tank top, so that might be like an ESTP thing. 2, I said to Spacey that I did sports back in the day.
Yeah. 3,
I said that I was canoeing yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all very kind of like.
Well,
I would say sort of SE things. But the thing is, I feel I'm more comfortable and usually in the more abstract almost all the time. Like all my hobbies are like art oriented, just stuff like that. Like I'm not very much like going out and doing things. I don't party that much or anything. Like, do I enjoy it? Like, yeah, of course. Like when I want to.
Okay, so
I don't know if that's stereotype.
Let me address this correlate thing that you brought up, which is important, because what I did at the beginning of this video was I did use what I saw as the correlates, and I concluded you were ENFJ based on those correlates, because all the things you're pointing about are actually more consistent with ENFJ than ESTP. ESTP has a more subtle relationship with that shit because they're SE DOMs. ENFJ, it's third slot. It's like my FE. They want to look flashy. They want to look like ESTPs, basically. They want to look like the stereotype of ESTPs. Actually, ESTPs don't necessarily do that. You know, it depends. But the thing is, the problem with the correlates in general is that they're misleading, as demonstrated in this video. When I was just looking at your vibe, how you are, shit like that, I was misled. I wasn't misled to ESTP. I was misled to ENFJ. But when I actually started testing the ones we can test as skills, it became clear I could eliminate ENFJ, ENTJ, ENFP, and ESFP. Because there's no way ENFP processes all those TI questions that quickly. I don't care if they've seen them before or not, frankly. They don't remember like that. They don't use their SI to remember TI conditionality like that. So those four are out of the question. Now we're back down to, okay, well, what the hell is this guy then? The TI is also too good for ENFJ. And, you know, you could be, in theory, an INFJ, except you don't seem introverted.
Yeah, I'm not introverted. As much as, like, I might be, like, I'm definitely extroverted.
Right. For sure. So that also eliminates ISTP, so we're down to ESTP and possibly ENTP. Now, you say you're doing a bunch of art and music stuff, so let's explore this one a bit. What kind, I mean, are you into consuming it, or do you make it?
Well, both to an extent. I mean, well, I don't know. I just feel like I've had I might be an unhealthy or just a different kind of ESTP, because I've had, like, a weird thing where, like, in high school it was pretty normal, grade school was pretty normal. Like, I was always, like, you know, relatively popular and had friends, but it wasn't until, like, the latter years of high school where I started, I guess, like, expanding my mind and stuff like that. And then basically since 18, 19, that's the only thing I've been concerned with is, like, whether it be reading the different just mediums I'm into. Like, right now it's film. Like, I'm a videographer a lot for my job, so, like, a lot of times, mostly what I'm spending on is dissecting movies, watching YouTube videos, and thinking about how I want to make that, like, sort of in a career, but I'm kind of bad at, like, setting plans into motion, because I'm on to the next thing. You know, then, like, a year ago, I really wanted to be, like, a writer and stuff like that, so I was, you know, reading all these novels and stuff like that, really, you know, identifying with it, but then, whatever, my interest changed.
Okay.
You know, and I've dabbled, like, music and all these things. It's just I haven't latched onto anything at all, so it's kind of hard.
When you were writing, or when you wanted to be a writer, what did you want to write?
Well, I mean, very generally, I wanted to write novels.
Okay. See, that's a very ESTP answer. It's, you know what you want to do, and you count on and rely on your extroverted intuition to be able to provide you the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a writer, or whatever. But instead, if you ask me, well, what do you want to write? I go, ooh, see, this is the issue. I've got like 6 books in mind right now, and I want to do this one, and I've got all these ideas with this, but there's a little bit of a catch here that's causing me to sort of put that on a back burner. I've also got this idea for a fiction book. I'd also like to do a poetry compilation because I've got all these poems. Blah, blah, blah. Now that's ideation serving. I mean, that's doing serving ideation rather than ideation serving doing. You have ideation serving doing. I have doing serving ideation.
Well, I mean, I guess I said one thing, write a novel. I mean, I've started and stopped, like, a bunch of different things. It's definitely fiction based, but
I think the point here is that you will engage in extroverted intuition. You will ideate as much as you have to in order to do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. You're perfectly capable of doing it.
So you, for example, want to be creative. You want to be producing media of some sort. You want to be an artist of some sort, or have artistry in your work at some point. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you are telling us. And the actual specifics of the artistry, the ideation itself, will come when bidden and needed. You can count on it. Just like I can count on, when I decide what I'm going to write, I can sit down and I will actually start typing the words. I'm not going to just not do it, you know?
Like me.
Right. But so I can count on my SE to be there to start typing words when I need to. But you can count on words coming to you when you start typing. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's interesting. I'll have to think. So you're just saying I am action based
Right.
first and foremost. Okay.
You know what
So-
you want to do, and like for example, you probably didn't say, I've got all these ideas I need to get out somehow, and maybe I'll write a book. I don't know. Maybe I'll write something else. Maybe I'll write. You're like, I want to write a book, and then the ideas will be there for you. So it's a different approach angle.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
But I will say, we did type another ESTP who is a writer. I mean,
Right, it's not impossible at all. That other ESP has successfully written a couple of novels,
yeah.
and it was the same exact thing as with you, except he's completed the works, but it was the same back and forth basically, where he's like, well, I know I want to write another novel, and I'm like, well, what's the genre? This is the genre. It's not like he had a shit ton of ideas he wanted to had to choose between. He had the idea of what he wanted to do, and then the specific ideation came and filled it in.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like before it hits NE, it goes through NI being like, this is the thing now. How do you make it happen?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Your
interesting.
NE is
I'll have
filtered
to
into
think
an NI
about that a
path.
lot. My process of how I decide to do something and then like RD is coming. Yeah, that's really interesting. I never made that distinction that much. What else? So then another thing you hear like ESTPs kind of being like, people are like, oh, they're insensitive or they just kind of do whatever the fuck they want to do or whatever. But I'm like super sensitive. So like I've always thought that's like a kind of FI thing. Like I have to introspect basically after like everything I do to be like, did that hurt that person's feeling? Did I feel authentic doing that? Like all the time basically. That's why I felt that I was at INFP for so long, because I was like, you constantly have to be like questioning yourself, like, is this the thing you want to be doing? Is this right? Is this authentic? Like constantly. I feel like that's very high up. So
You're TI in your FI.
oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do a certain amount of that too. It's like if an ESP or an ENGP wants to make wise choices, then they need to focus some on whether or not they actually want to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't come naturally to us. For everybody else, that sounds insane.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you know if you want to do it or not. That's nothing you have to think about. That's the thing you have to constrain because it's driving you too much. But I want it to be this way. Therefore, I'm going to believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's well, most people suffer from that. You suffer from the opposite. This thing is here. I guess I should do it. Wait a second. I hate this. So you've learned to be aware that you sometimes will make those decisions if you don't think to check your feelings. Most people don't have to think to check their feelings.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow, I'm gonna have to do a lot of rethinking a lot of different things. This is
I will say that
this is a bit paradigm
you
shattering.
seem to have like excellent workarounds for whatever lack of FI that you do have.
And you're very bright, like
Yeah.
a lot of ESTPs. You're also interested in abstract shit because that's what happens when you get TI. The tool function is most native to abstract shit.
Mm-hmm.
So smart ESTPs end up sort of gravitating to this or something equivalent because it provides them something that they can both link to a reality that's physical, namely the way people act, and also have access, also be able to utilize their TI, like, open it up on the road like a car that goes fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, 'cause I think you're somewhat limited in the ability to do that in the physical world. It's not native to that. So it works there. Like Spacey explained it to me not that long ago. I didn't understand it before. But regardless, I'm very confident you're ESTP, and a lot of the shit you're doing is textbook ESTP, but absolutely in opposition to the type descriptions of ESTP. So if you read those type descriptions, you'll be misled.
Yes.
And you'll think
exactly. That's why ENFP is always so like. I was like, this sounds just like me for sure. I feel like I displayed all those behaviors. So ESTPs, I guess I'm gonna have to find not a role model, but it's nice to see something. Like, oh, okay. How can I compare that to myself?
Oh, you should check out Taylor.
Check out Taylor's Flow State channel. Taylor's my ESTP friend from Kansas, and he's got a channel called Flow State. And he talks about ESTP shit. I mean, he talks about ideas from an ESTP's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
He always likes to sort of tease me, I guess, at the fact that I don't seem to care what the reality is, just as long as we all agree what the story is that we're agreeing to. And he brings a concreteness to my own insanity sometimes that helps me to open my eyes a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say that both ENTP and ESP are very sensitive. We're very tender and sensitive, despite having polar FI. And having polar FI does not mean you're not sensitive. It means you are sensitive. And ESTP especially has this weird juxtaposition of combination of things. They've got incredibly unswayable swagger and confidence with visible vulnerability and harmability. Like an ESP walks around and you can tell they're kind of they're plenty confident they can accomplish what they want, and you can also tell that there's a childlike sensitivity to them. I always can when I'm dealing with ESPs after a little while. They've got the same sort of thing in their eyes I suspect that ESPs have in our eyes, which is that at the end of the day, we're children alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely identify with child. What was I about to say? Fuck. God damn it. This was important. Here's what it was. So I guess because you know how there's this is what a healthy personality type does, and this is what an unhealthy one does. So lately, I've I guess for the past couple of years, now that I'm in the army now too, I'm very I guess insecure and uncertain of what I'm supposed to be doing, which is a typical young person's problem. But
typical bipolar problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. Look, I feel like with ESTPs, there's such a confidence there, and I don't feel like I have that at all, and maybe that's unhealthiness of it.
Okay, look, it's not.
I don't know. That's so interesting.
In some sense, neither ENTP nor ESTP ever really develops a true core confidence that's unshakable because of polar FI. That core confidence that's unshakable is an FI thing. But what we do have is other people view us as confident. And like I said, sometimes other people also view us as vulnerable, which we are. We're both confident and vulnerable. This is true of both ENTPs and ESTPs if they're not totally damaged. Now, totally damaged ENTPs will be fucking pedantic douchebags with a chip on their shoulder. Totally damaged ESTPs will go out and fuck a bunch of bitches and not care about what happens to them afterwards. And in both those instances, it's an unhealthy way of trying to achieve our third slot function, FE, payoff. For the douchebag ENTP who's just bitter and pedantic, he's trying to get some sort of FE payoff of being smarter than everybody else and showing them and schooling them and whatever. For the ESTP, he's trying to get this payoff of, well, chicks are giving me their ultimate affirmation, namely the physical reality of having sexual intercourse with me. And so I'm being affirmed, and I don't care what happens to them. I'm just sort of extracting their affirmation from them. Both of those are unhealthy behaviors because they are illegitimate ways of accomplishing a legitimate goal. And so to get good FE, we have to be like you. You're a healthy ESP. You have to be like me. I'm a healthy ESP. That's to say, we have humility about us. We understand that we are not the act we play. That we're sensitive and we hurt easily, and we feel lost too, and everything. And people assume you are the act you play in public a lot of times. Yeah. And underestimate the depth and humanity of some of the more obviously extroverted types like ENTP and ESTP.
For sure. What would you say that an ENFP's goal is that they might not even realize? Just that kind of meta goal.
ENFP's goal?
Yeah.
It's particular. It's specific to them. They know what it is. They may not know the specifics of how they're going to get there, but they know they have an inherent sense in them of what life would be like if it were optimized for using FI and NE. For example, Sauce is an ENFP, and he is making beer in France, doing TE shit for FI reasons, and doesn't care about how it looks at all. And
I guess I'm pretty self-conscious of how I'm being perceived for sure, and I've always not liked that. So,
but it's okay. There's nothing wrong with caring about how you're perceived. There's nothing wrong with caring about what other people think.
Especially with SE and FE in your front stack, you can be very well aware of what other people are thinking and how you look and how other people look and that kind of stuff. You know?
And you're going to do a much better job of reading people's FE in the moment than I ever will, because I'm not attentive that much to physical cues. I'm listening to tone of voice a lot. I pick up on little changes of tone of voice. But if somebody's giving me a crinkly face, there's a decent chance I'm going to miss it. You're observant about shit like that because that's your TI in the physical, working with your FE in the physical to allow you SE opportunity.
Okay. Oh, that math makes sense to me for sure. I can see that definitely.
And like,
okay.
Also, I want to just mention this: you make great eye contact.
Yes, direct. Like I said, you're very direct. You're looking right at people, and you're.
So that's like me. That's me thinking about how I'm being perceived. Yeah. So I guess. Which I also had a family, so they're
NTPs have a habit of not making eye contact when they're listening to somebody. At least I certainly do. And I've heard of some other NTPs as well. And I think the reason for it is we don't want the visual FE data because we can fully process everything with TI plus the auditory FE data, no problem. You throw in the visual FE data, it's one too many variables, and we don't hear as well. So I think that's why NTPs don't make good eye contact, whereas STPs do.
Okay, for sure. And then I guess we only have.
That's fine. Go ahead.
What another thing I had, because I identified as an ENFP4. That's just maybe a 7 or a 4. But so what would you say, just for reference, so I can be like, okay,
ESTP 7.
What is a common enneagram for ESTPs? You would say? I really have 0.
7 is the most common. 8,
Okay.
7 and 8.
Okay.
You might get a 4. You're more likely to get a 3 in an ESTP, but you might get a 4. You sound like a 4, not a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I guess I'm just very much. It might be because I've been kind of isolated by myself more and stuff. That I guess I just have more time to think about, like, what do I feel and stuff like that. So I've always thought it was a 4, but it's always been in conflict with being like, no, but 7 makes a lot of sense too. So
do you anger easily? What happens if somebody comes at you with anger? Do you respond with anger?
When someone comes at me with anger, I don't know. Well, being in the army and stuff, you deal with a lot of fucking bullshit from like higher ups. So you can't really come back with anger, so you kind of learn how to fucking talk shit behind backs and stuff. But I don't know. No, I don't get angry that easy. I only get angry about things that I care about. Like, I'm pretty easygoing with shit. But like, if I have a plan, then it's like, that's the plan that I want because I thought about it and this is that, and you're not listening, and it's gonna piss me off. But for the most part, I'm literally just like, oh, let's do that. That sounds cool, man.
Probably a 1.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think you're a 714 or a 174. One of those tri-types probably.
What's 1-4?
Yeah.
Let me see what the tri-type is called. 714 tri-type.
Maybe 794. I don't see an 8 in there.
But when he said people don't listen and interfere with what he wants to do, that's when he gets angry. Same thing with me. You wouldn't guess I'm an 8 just from chatting with me, probably.
No, right.
714.
I don't even know if you are.
I am. Believe me, I am. You need to rewatch the video. Host Eric yells at people.
You yell a lot. You're an 8, ladies and gentlemen.
The enthusiast. 714 is the enthusiast. Tri-type.
You seem like a pretty enthusiastic
You seem
guy.
like an enthusiast. You're talking about, music, writing, film, all that kind of shit. So, I think that sounds like the right tri-type for you. 714.
Okay, this is interesting. I'm happy I did this because I went in here.
Well, we're happy that you're happy.
We're happy because I learned something here. I've been learning a lot during this Blitz here. Are you cool with us publishing this?
It's good
I don't know.
material.
I don't want to make a fool out of myself.
No, you're not at all. People are gonna love you.
Yeah, you have to realize that however you feel about this shit is completely irrelevant. You need to totally stop paying attention to your feelings.
Right. Never trust your feelings.
Never
You're
trust your
ESTP.
feelings. It'll lead you astray.
Hold on. Let's just go through the downsides real quick. What could be the possible downsides? Someone I know.
There are none.
There literally are none. People are going to love you.
Yeah.
And besides that, people are going to love me getting it wrong, too. I'm like, you're an ENFJ.
Right.
People love that. The thing is, you're revelatory about pitfalls about typing, too. There's a lot of things about you that would cause you to be mistyped by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you have some sort of stereotypical ESTP vibe about you, but your answers can be very misleading, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So this is
people are going to yell.
Video.
People are going to be like, "You're stupid for thinking you're not fair."
That's exactly the problem with ESTPs usually.
Hey, listen. Let me put it up. If after a day or two you're like, I don't like the comments, I don't like the way people are responding, I'll take it down.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's how I guess I could just email you.
You just call me, whatever, call Spacey, we'll take it right down. I never have any problem taking down videos if people change their mind.
Okay.
I always just do it.
Okay. Yeah, because I just don't have a big, like.
I think you're going to be.
You don't come off dumb. You don't come off like an asshole or an idiot or any of that.
Right.
Yeah. You're cool, dude.
And the commenters are fair. They'll tell you what they actually think, and I'm sure it's going to be positive.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, don't. Okay.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.